It's always good to start a match off on a positive note, Michael.
I think we'll thrive in our 50s, Carl. Maybe we'll have a few golden breaks in our golden years. Okay, so Chris Melling, the Yorkshireman, the only British player left in this year's World Championship, will start us off. Big task from him against the former champion Fedor Gorst. Here we go.
Going to get a look at the two here. This will work out very handy. He actually breaks the balls very good, Chris. He pots the one very consistently. This is just the start you want in any match. The 5, the purple 5 to the green 6 is the key shot. Playing the combo. A little surprised, but maybe he just thought, yeah, the 5 to the 6 is a little funny. So it's the combo for a quick rack.
Yeah, very quick. So Chris Melling with the 3-9 already leads 1-0.
Yeah, has this been the story of Fedor's event so far? Things like this happening early on in matches.
Chris Melling, not quite the oldest player to make it to the last 16. But he's pretty close to it, 45 years of age. And as you alluded to, Carl, he's very much a Q Sports all-rounder. But he does have big pedigree in 9-ball. He won his first big title at the China Open back in 2011. Big money for that and a lot of prestige as well. He's won the famous Derby City Classic 9-ball in his time as well and played in 2 Mosconi Cups.
I believe if Melling would have, focused on the one Q Sport, you feel he should have played in more than 2 Mosconi Cups.
Well, a couple more wins here. He could be playing in another one in Florida come the end of the year. So it took Chris Melling 3 swipes of the cue to win the opener. And that's why he starts us off again in number 2.
Well, here comes the 2-ball again. Look, dresses up. In another corner pocket. This is just the start Chris would have wanted. Does he have angle? He's got down quick. That usually tells you. Yeah, player does. Nice shot, bit of spin to get the cue ball down closer to his work. He's only got that little gap there though, so he's going to come back out past that green 6. Short of pace to me, Michael, because I think the previous angle it felt like you had to get past the 6. I thought he'd have actually come above the 6 then, just to leave a longer ping 4. Can he bend the ball in using the spin? That's what he's having a go. He's overdone it.
Yeah, and you feel once he'd got the early initiative, he had to hold on to it as long as he could, put some early pressure on Gorst. And that was unnecessary, running out of ideal position. Beat Chang Yong Lin to win this championship. 4.5 years ago now, Fedor Gorst.
Very good bank pool player is Gorst. It's a game you play on a pool table. First person to pot 5 balls, that's banking 5 balls, wins the rack. That's one of the games they play at that Derby City Classic, and he should have a go at the bank here. Yeah, well done. I know Fedor's been quite critical of these tables this week. he's not the biggest fan of them. Obviously, pool players, unlike the snooker world where they all play on the star snooker table, pool players from event to event play on different brands, and maybe that's got something to do with his early exit in the, to get over to the losers side, if you like, and then obviously a few close matches. I think he's just been struggling a little bit with the tables. But he's a very nice cueist, isn't he, Ghost? He almost looks like he's come from the snooker world, the way he stands and he cues the ball. It's very unhook-like.
He's near an all-in 9-ball player, as you were saying earlier on. Chris Melling is not. Is that something that you feel Gorst can play to? Can he do certain things that accentuate that advantage that he has?
I think yes, but the split of the balls is where that would come into play. It all depends on what happens after the break shots. Listen, if Chris is getting chances and opportunities, that's what Chris is going to need. But you've already seen in the second rack, Chris had a good chance. And he played the loose cue ball, and that's what Melling does, because he tries to mix all these cue sports up, and you're never going to be, you're going to be a jack of all trades, aren't you? Not really a master of one, and that's pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, Melling needlessly ran out of position on the 4, ended up giving up a chance. Federer Gorst has swiftly levelled at 1-1 in the early stages of this last 16 match. So it's 7-4 now for Anton Raga against Joshua Filler, although Filler is at the table in rack 12, looking to make 8 and 9, which he should do. And he's travelled all the way up the table and half the way back again to give himself a routine 9. So Filler set to get back to 7-5 down. Shane Van Boning still trailing Wojciech Szewczyk by a single rack. That one is 8-7. Filler has indeed won rack 12.
Yeah, SVB was down quite a bit in that match. I think a 7-3 at one point. So he is back in the match.
I know it was certainly 5-2. Trying to keep an eye on so many matches here. Yeah, like Gorst, Melling took an early defeat. He did win his first match against Daniel Guttenberger, but then lost to Aloysius Yap in winners' qualification. Had to go to the losers' side, played an all-British match on the main table against Imran Majid. Had 7 dry breaks, but still won comfortably, 9-4. Also through easily enough against Tolian Han of Singapore, 11-4, and then Hill finish in the all-British clash again with Elliot Sanderson last night. 1-1.
Yeah, Elliot Sanderson was 10-8 up against Melling. He broke off dry. He never got back to the table, Michael. Elliot was distraught.
I think he scratched, didn't he, at 10-8 on the break?
Was it a scratch break? I thought it was a dry break anyway, whatever it was. From then on in, 10-9, Melling did back-to-back break and runs, and rightfully so. Elliot was distraught. You feel like you're so close and you just don't feel like you've been given your opportunity, but that is 9-ball in a nutshell.
There's always a different context, I feel, with Elliot Sanderson, because he had a very good job outside of pool, working in the civil service. Gave that up to go full-time as a player. Moved north of the border to Glasgow as part of all that. And, of course, when you've done all those things and taken those big risks, imagine the difference it would have made to him in terms of justifying that and making it all pay off. To be here for the penultimate day of the World Championship, even in terms of the money and the ranking points. Sanderson at times has been a player who's really looked like he feels the pressure out there. You see all the heavy breathing, and he's famous for the big shouts at the end of matches. But against Chris Melling last night, in what was arguably the biggest match of his life so far, he looked very comfortable and played very well. tell you who's also playing very well is Wojciech Szczewczyk, because he's won the 16th rack and is 2 away from knocking out the former champion Shane Van Boening and getting to his second world quarter-final 9 years after his first.
Well, the round before the Sanderson and Melling match, Sanderson beat Roland Garcia, and after he potted the final 9, I don't know if you've seen the video doing the rounds, but he sort of looked at the camera, you know, the camera had gone over to the table, and he sort of shouted out, or kind of sung it to a degree. He went, "How good am I?" like that. That's what he shouted. I thought, I was laughing when I said the video.
Yeah, you see, some people don't like that. They think it's arrogant or cocky. I love all that stuff.
It's class. He just went, "How good am I?" like this, dead loud. Brilliant.
Well, the answer turned out to be pretty good because he played well, and Sanderson still has plenty of time to go on and have bigger weeks even than this in the future. But he lost to his fellow Yorkshireman Chris Melling last night. Melling, who had a chance to lead 2-0, could be about to go 2-1 down. Switched nationalities around about 8 months ago now. Fedor Gorst became the first player to have appeared for both sides at the Mosconi Cup, and he's a fully fledged American player now. Has been a Mosconi Cup winner in the past with Europe. In the COVID Mosconi in Coventry in 2020. He's also a winner of this rack. With a break and run, Gorst leads for the first time in the match at 2-1. So, Fedor Gorst hoping to be an American winner of the World Championship. Carl, how many have there been in the past?
Ooh, how many American winners? I don't think I'll get this right just because of the early era, but I'm going to have a go. Give me a rack.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Balls anyway.
As I said, Fedor Gorst turned 24 this day last week. He was World Junior Champion back in 2017, and the following year won a big event in Italy. So his potential was known about, but it was still a huge leap forward to suddenly be World Champion the following year. Close one in the final, as I was saying earlier, against Chang Yung Lin. What a time to be suddenly coming into your prime. Everything shut down for the best part of a year, and he then had his own issues with travel and all the rest of it, but back now as a full-time participant in the game's biggest events. He won one of them just a few weeks ago, the World Masters, and he's leading 2-1 here.
Break. I'm going to say 7.
7? 7 American winners of the World Championship? Nah. 4.
Well, I was thinking like Nick Varner.
Yeah.
Archer.
Yeah, Johnny Archer.
Strickland.
3 times, more than anyone.
Fedor.
Yeah, that's a grey area, isn't it? Well, he wasn't representing the US at the time. So that was the point I was making. He's looking to win it as an American.
Strickland.
I think you said him.
Have I said him?
Yeah. I know he won it 3 times, but you only have to say it once.
Say your list.
Well, Shane Van Boning's the other one.
Yeah, Van Boening. And then I was thinking Nick Varner. Did he not win it?
You said him already as well.
Mike Siegel. Surely he won it. He never won it, Mike Siegel.
4 American winners.
Johnny Archer. Have I said it?
Listen, you've done the list once. You don't have to do them all again.
I'm trying to get up to 7. I can't use the same player twice, is
No, sorry. No matter how many times they won it. And Archer did win it twice. Strickland 3 times.
I thought Mike Siegel And the reason why I said 7, I was going out on a limb thinking did Buddy Hall or someone of that generation win it. Little thin one here for Ghost. It's one of them little nasty ones where you've just got to trust where you're aiming and hopefully it kind of goes in. Wojciech Szewczak is 9-7 up over SVB and he's at the table. It's Wojciech.
Yeah, not only is he at the table, but he's got 7, 8 and 9 at his mercy. You've got me doubting myself now, but I've checked it again. It is definitely 4. Anyway, back to this match we're watching here. Yeah, he was on the winning side in both of his Mosconis in Las Vegas in 2011 and then in London the following year when he actually won the MVP. Unusual to go from being MVP to then not even playing the next year. In fact, he's not been back in the team since. Had a great record in singles. He played 5 matches across those 2 Mosconis and won them all.
Yeah, so the Ghost mistake.
Szewczak has taken the 7 and the 8. 8 was a little bit of a tester from distance, and he's finished absolutely perfectly on the 9. And so, Wojciech Szewczak is on the hill against Shane Van Boening. So you think back to the Friday of the 2022 World Championship. It was a slightly earlier stage of the tournament because we finished on a Sunday that year. Van Boening had the legendary comeback against Mika Immonen to win 8 in a row and did it. Has to do half that today. Needs all of the last 4 or he's out. Anton Rag has added another one. 8-5 now against Joshua Filler. And Chris Melling taking his chance well there and levelling against Fedor Gorst at 2-all. Of course, if Van Boening was to lose that match, then we could say that at the most there would be 1 player in the semi-finals who's won this before, because the other 2 former champions left in it, Filler and Gorst, if they were to win, they'd play each other in the quarters tonight. Big opportunities for so many people over the next few days to change their lives dramatically. Okay, so not your best effort, Carl, in terms of the number of American winners. Chris Melling is, of course, from your own country. So how many British players have won this?
2.
Very good. Going to tell us who they are?
Peach Appleton.
Yeah, Darryl Peach, 2007. Darren Appleton, 2012. Sounds like a sort of flavoured drink, doesn't it? Peach Appleton. Did you ever hear from Darryl Peach? I know he's not playing anymore. He's roughly your part of the world.
No, he's not involved in the pool world at all. Can't remember how long ago he's actually been since he unscrewed the cue. Time seems to just go so quick, doesn't it? It's probably getting on 10 years, I would imagine. No, maybe not quite that long, actually. 7 or 8 years of it. It's changed so much when you look at what's going on, hasn't it, as well?
You get these stages throughout these big field multi-table events where there's so much going on at one time. We're in the early stages here, but around us, 2 of the greatest of modern times, 2 of the greatest of all time, who've both won this championship in the past, are both trying to overturn 3-rack deficits towards the end of their respective last 16 matches.
Yeah, Joshua Filler's in a hole here against Anton Raga. Raga's an unbelievable player, very clever pool player.
Yeah, and if Raga wins that, it's 3 out of 3 for the Philippines players today. And they'll have nearly half the quarter-finalists tonight. So we talked about those 2 Mosconi Cups Chris Melling has played in. He's also been a regular participant in the World Cup of Pool. Famously in Brentwood a couple of years ago. Because Britain were the host nation, they could nominate 2 teams. Obviously Jason Shaw was going to be on the A team. And Elliot Sanderson, who we were talking about a few minutes ago, was picked to play alongside him. It was a bit controversial. Some people felt Chris Melling himself might have been on the A team. Well, instead he was on the B side with Imran Majid. He found a way to make his point because the B team actually won. So the Britain A team were the only side in that tournament to go out without winning a single rack. And after that, Melling and Majid went on to beat South Africa, but were knocked out by the eventual winner Spain in the quarter-finals. In fact, Melling's been in the World Cup quarter-finals 5 times, but lost there every time.
Yeah, that's a good pot from Chris. Cue ball on the rail to take care of that one.
Raga's let Filler back in with a decent chance here, a shot at the 3. Oh no, he hasn't. My apologies. Just it's a slightly obscured view. I'm having a look at it from another angle now. Raga has made the 3-4 combination. So scrap that. He's got the opportunity for 9-5, and you'd have to make him a strong favourite from there. Things like the opponent, the occasion, the circumstances don't really seem to make any difference to him. Nice work again then from Chris Melling. He'll be happy enough with the start he's made. 2 in a row for him, and the British player leads Fedor Gorst by 3 racks to 2.
All seems to have gone a bit quiet on the other table, table 2 that is. It seems to have been 10-7 for some time between Shevchuk and Van Boning.
Yeah, Van Boning is at the table in the next rack, but can't really see from our vantage point here exactly what's going on. Yeah, it's not just in team events that Chris Melling's got history in the Matchroom tournaments. In fact, it was not even 2 years ago he was in the quarter-finals of one of the very biggest events, the US Open. Lost there to Max Lechner.
Well, big news on TV table. Raga had a pretty easy table layer after the combo, Michael, and he's missed quite, well, a very easy 7-ball. He's let Filler back to the table. How big a moment is that going to be? We'll keep you posted if you're just tuning in here on the other one. Melling's breaking well. No shot on the red 3 though.
Yeah, the 7 was left hanging for Filler, and there's always a bit of doubt as to what the cue ball's going to do, coming in and out of the jaws like that from distance, but he's played it perfectly to get in the 8, and now he's got a simple 9, so big rack that. Raga looked like going 9-5. Instead, it's now 8-6. As you say, no shot in the 3, but they've both made the 1 every time so far in the side. I'm just looking at Anton Raga now. He's sitting in his chair, facing hands. And you know he's having that feeling that players of every single level have What on earth have I done there?
It's a similar ball missed to the two that Phil has missed, actually. Balls that you just would never expect these top players to miss. Yeah, I can tell you that the big screen's just flicked on to the SVB Shevchuk game. It's 10-7, Wojciech. He's jumping at the red 3 ball. He's missed a jump shot. And Van Boney's got a chance. So Chris played the push out. Fedor was putting back. I don't know if he's going for the pot or is he going for the bank or spinning it round. He's going for the pot. Yeah, he's overdone it. It was a big shot to take on. I'm not saying it was the wrong shot. He's obviously a phenomenal potter, is Melly. One of the best at potting the ball.
Such a tough route for Gorst to win the World Masters back in April in Germany. Fair to say, though, it's always going to be nowadays in that event. Took care of the two Austrians, Mario He and Albin Ocean, in the first 2 rounds by a total combined score of 19-4. Much closer against Jason Shaw in the quarters, the semis, sorry. But from 7-all, Gorst pulled away with 4 in a row for the match. And then that extraordinary final against Joshua Filler, looking for a big title in his home country. Gorst was 8-6 down, won the next 4 to lead 10-8, then lost the next 4 after that. Filler getting to the hill. Gorst needed to win the last 3, and he did.
Well, big news on table 2. Van Bonen had an easy table layout. I've stood up just to glance at the table. He is not at the table, Michael. Shevchuk is at the table, and something tells me he's about to beat SVB. Under the radar a little bit, Wojciech Shevchuk. Yeah, Wojciech's got 4 balls left. Easy balls and all. Unless he does something pretty remarkable, SVB will be out of this year's World Pool Championship.
Wojciech Shevchuk, a player who always seems to get reasonably far in these big matchroom events these days without going particularly deep all that often. He was a quarter-finalist at the European Open last year, beaten by Anton Raga, in fact. He's been a quarter-finalist in this World Championship in the past. And he's now 1 ball away from getting to the quarter-finals here. What a big story this is. Shane Van Boening finally winning the World Championship 2 years ago in Milton Keynes, with that win over Albin Ocean. Having been beaten finalist on 2 previous occasions, he came here looking to be only the 6th multiple winner of this title. But that ambition will have to wait for at least 1 more year. Wojciech Shevchuk has defeated Shane Van Boening by 11 racks to 7. It's one of the very best wins of his life, and he will play either his compatriot Victor Zielinski or Portugal's João Griot for a place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I actually think Wojciech Shevchuk is the best Polish player. Not saying there's a lot in it, but I do believe he is. I mean, Victor Zielinski will have something to say about that, because he's about to play João Griot on that table, and as Michael's just told us, maybe it'll be an all-Polish quarter-final. This match, however, is brewing up nicely.
Yeah, and Fedor Gorst has made it level for the 3rd time at 3-all. Yeah, so Shane Van Boening, since winning the championship 2 years ago, he's gone out in the last 16. 2 years in a row. It was Duong Kwok Wang who ended his hopes at that stage last year. And you know, you think back to when he won the world title in 22, that meant Van Boening had become only the 11th player to win both the World Championship and the US Open. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz obviously has since become the 12th. But since then, in 4 attempts across the World and the US Open, Van Boening hasn't been in a quarter-final of any of them, because he's gone out last 64 of the US Open for both of the last 2 years. Well, that is a very big story, and it does mean that at the most we will have one player in the semi-finals who's won this before. I mentioned that World Masters win that Gorst had. He's actually won another title since then. One thing that I think Poole has no equals in is the names of some of the tournaments. So how about the rally in the Shenandoah Valley? Just last month. It was a world ranking tournament and Gorst won it, beating Roberto Gomez in the final. Three all then.
Cue ball's close. That was a good hit, wasn't it? And it's the cannon off the 9 ball. Its usual scratch that we see. This break.
Yeah, maintaining the record between them of making the one in the side in every break so far. But accompanied by the first scratch. Good chance for Melling.
Great chance for Melling. 3-rail the cue ball like so. Can't really fail to get on the ball then.
Yeah, that US Open quarter-final run a couple of years ago. He's had another deep run in one of these events since then. UK Open last year. Got to the last 16. Well, he's already gone a couple of rounds further in the World Championship than he did in 2023. He was beaten in the last 64 by Aloysius Yap. Also went out at that stage in Hanoi to Alban Ocean. And went on to come so close to winning the title. I also remember last year he played in the Premier League and had a decent enough start in Leicester, but then the Premier League did to him what it does to so many players. He just went on a run where he could not find a win. He lost 6 in a row, 3 successive Hill defeats at one stage, and honestly I've never seen anyone look so fed up with the game as Melling was. He just felt everything was going against him. In the end he went out in the first phase with only 5 wins from his 15 matches.
There, because he did not play for that pocket. There's no two ways about it. But this is a bit like Sufi in some regards. Cue ball can be a bit loose from time to time, but he's such a good potter and shot maker. He'll be very good with the rest as well.
Just as you say that, he misses one with the moose head.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got a good snooker background. He's a very good snooker player, is Christopher. I was a little surprised to see that one stay up. As he got away with it, it's difficult to tell from that camera angle, of course. Kind of doesn't look like he's... It must be tight anyway, because Fedor would have played it by now, wouldn't he? So big moment coming up here. Still early days, obviously race to 11. Well, he did leave it. I would put Melling at the top of the list for being the best player with the bridge in the tournament. No one would come even close to Chris Melling using the rest.
scratch off the break from Gorst, but he ends up winning the rack anyway after a bit of a lapse from Melling. So 2 in a row for the American. He leads 4-3. Now Anton Raga is at the table in rack 16 with a chance to get within a couple of victory. Looks like a decent chance as well. Still plenty to do. He's just potted the 4. He's got the 5 over the side, and well, looking at the layout, that would be really surprising if he didn't go 9-7 there. Joshua Filler had dreams of winning the European Open in his homeland in Fulda last year. Got to the semi-finals and I think was widely expected to beat Raga there, but his run was ended by the young Philippines player. Well, it looks like it's all gone wrong for Raga, because he's almost scratched in the side, just managed to keep the cue ball on the table. I think he's left himself a very tough shot now to follow, so there may be hope for Filler in that 16th rack. We will of course keep you right up to date. Back here, Gorst 4-3 in front and breaking.
Drama all over the tables, as we would expect. It never changes. There's always drama when playing 9-ball. That's why I believe it's the best game on a pool table. It's the most exciting one to watch. You just never know what's going to happen, do you, Michael? Things just change. Looks like Melling's going to go 4-3 up with the break. A mistake comes from nowhere. Of course, it's easy saying that from the commentary booth. Never missed a ball from here, Michael. Even you've played great from this jet.
You never missed a ball when you were out there, Carl.
I don't know about that. What's Fedo got? It's hard to see, isn't it? It's the red 3 ball, that's the issue. I would say it doesn't go past the 8 ball. So you'd have to, well, how do you get on this 3? Not like that. He's hooked himself. Yeah, we're just watching that rack you were talking about between Filler and Raga. Raga hooked himself, very nearly scratched, got very lucky actually. And when he was hooked, he had to 3-rail kick the ball, he come out of it and he went safe. Filler played a safety shot, left Raga a long 6. Raga slotted it home, he's at the table, 2 balls left to go 9-7 up.
Yeah, 8 hanging over the corner pocket as well, so
does that go? No.
yeah, Raga has potted that and a simple 9, so that's going to be 9-7 now. Filler running out of time to turn it round. Back here, Melling returns to the table. Yeah, the players who have made it to this stage are guaranteed 15,000 already. Usually in these big matchroom events you need to get to the final for that. Get through this round, you're guaranteed 27, and if you're still in the championship by the end of tonight, the least you can walk away with is $50,000 and a chance to multiply that by 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a very, very good, fascinating prize breakdown. Just means the players who are getting to this stage of the event, at least are winning some decent dollar. Hard to believe coming into today we were only halfway through.
Bye.
Yeah, in terms of the number of matches needed to end up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, and of course, as each match unfolds, things are going to start to get more pressurised, because we're talking, we're talking serious life-changing money now, aren't we? And of course, it's the title. I know we keep talking about the money, but it's purely and simply because we've never really seen it like this in pool. But if you ask any player, they want to win the world title. You know, you play a sport, a cue sport from a young age, and you're just desperate to get your name on that trophy.
I think from the money point of view as well, for any of these guys, $250,000 is a huge amount. But for someone like Gorst, who won about that last year and similar amount the year before, and is closing in on $1 million in total career prize money, and of course, who also knows he's got many years ahead of him to make his millions, it's not quite as life-changing as it is for, say, someone like Jeffrey Ignacio or Wojciech Szewczyk. So that could be a factor as well if it's one of the very biggest names against someone from the B list, shall we say, with the greatest of respect, when we get down to the finish.
Yeah, Raga's missed the 2 balls, so Phil's back at the table. He's got work to do though.
Fedor Gorst has a bit of work to do here, but it looks like all in a day's work for him. Pretty routine from this position. 3 balls to make it 3 racks in a row. And Joshua Filler has just maybe snatched a little bit at a 2 from distance. But actually seems to have had a pretty good result there, because he's left Raga hooked behind the 4. Raga leading 9-7 there. Well, this match has never had more than a rack in it either way. Until now, from 3-2 down, Fedor Gorst has moved 5-3 up on Chris Melling. Victor Zielinski and João Grillo are now just getting started on table 2, the last of the last 16 matches. So it's not much more than an hour now until the quarterfinals begin, and I think it's safe to say we'll probably have that match still going on. And maybe even this one when the quarters get underway. The matches we do already know: Dang Jinhu, the Spanish Open champion, will take on Johan Chua, part of the Philippines team that won the World Cup last year. Another Philippines player, Jeffrey Ignacio, will take on Eklund Kachi. Of those 4 then, Carl, Dang, Chua, Ignacio and Kachi, one of them is definitely going to be in the final. Which of the 4 would you pick?
Eklund Kachi, he's breaking fantastic, and I always feel like a person who goes full power on the break and really gets all the balls moving has got more chance of potting more than just the 1 ball. I think it's worked. It's been very successful.
Kachi reached the semi-finals of the World Championship when he was a teenager. The man at the table won it in his teens, and he's won the last 3 racks of this match. Does the 2 pass the 9?
There's a lot of options here for Gorst. just because of these three balls, the purple, the pink, the green ball.
Well, the two did pass the 9. Now he's on the 3 in the other side, but where does he go from there, Carl?
Again, he could try and slide over to where he's putting his Q-tip. If not, again, he's still got opportunities for the hook, just because there's a couple of balls near the pink 4. Has he come far enough over? It's not bad. Let's certainly do something with that. I'm so intrigued on the TV table at the minute.
Yeah, Anton Raga potted the 2, but he wasn't on the 3. The 9 was obscuring him just enough to prevent the pot. But now he sent the 3 into the middle of the table, and he's got Filler behind the 7.
Yeah, Filler's under severe pressure in that match. He just can't get back close, can he? Can't get back level.
And if he leaves ball in hand or a chance there, chances are Filler is going to give his opponent a route to the hill. Well, he's made the hit, Filler. He's left something, but could have been a lot worse, Carl.
Yeah, we'll let you know how this rack ends up. Fedor goes, played a loose positional shot, tried to come off the edge of the 6, didn't quite hit it hard enough. He's trying to get the cue ball locked in behind the 6. It could have been better. Yes, he's got the hook, but Chris can play the jump shot. If the cue ball's on the 6, he can't.
Yeah, I said could have been worse for Filler, because although he'd left the 3 on, wasn't guaranteed Raga was going to pot it and get on the 4, but the Philippines player has played the shot well and now has a wonderful chance to lead 10-7 there. And wouldn't it be amazing if Filler was to lose that, and after all his travails this week, Fedor Gorst ended up being the last former world champion still in the championship.
Yeah, this was the problem with the safety from Gorst. He could have easily got the cue ball right in behind the 6. Because he didn't, he let Chris control the jump shot and he played it beautiful. Beautiful kick shot from the Ghost. Anton Raga, he's on the 9 ball to be in a similar position to SVB that he was, because SVB was 10-7 down. It didn't work out for SVB as he got beat 11-7.
Yeah, and it's a 9 that Raga is quite simply not going to miss. So is it going to be Fulda revisited? It's Joshua Filler's dreams ended by Anton Raga. Filler has got to win the last 4 there. Back to this one.
Well, just look at where the purple 5 has finished. Chris kicks it, tries to play the shot he played, but of course he didn't want the purple 5 that close. Boy, if he's going for this, this is such a low percentage pot for Gorst.
5.
Yeah, it was always a big second favourite there.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised he didn't play it with loads of right-hand English and get the cue ball on the top rail. That way, if you miss, you don't leave a putt.
Yeah, he's opened the door a bit now from Melling. British player was keeping pace early on. He's fallen off it a little. This is a chance to get back right on Gorst's heels.
Shot here, well controlled, 2 rails for the 8. He's going to be back to just 1 behind.
Chris Melling does indeed close to 5-4 down. Anton Raga breaking on the hill at 10-7 against Joshua Filler. He's got 2 balls down, but I don't think he's got a shot at the 2. Chris Melling did have a shot at the 9. He'd done all the hard work by then. That was for the rack, so back to 5-4 behind. It's just one of those scenarios where it feels like, although this is a very big match in itself, obviously, it's all been a bit overshadowed in the arena here in Jeddah at the moment by everything else going on. The big story of Van Boning's elimination from the championship at the last 16 stage for the 2nd year in a row, and the possibility that Joshua Filler could follow SVB through the exit door within the next few minutes. As I said, Gorst has really been back as a full-time fixture in the big events, and throughout 2023 he was always, it seemed, or nearly always, getting near the end of tournaments.
As you can see the bottom edge of the 2, Chris will be playing a push. Yeah, you could see the bottom.
Joshua Filler has attempted to pot the 2 in rack 18 against Anton Raga. He's missed it, he's left it hanging, but he may have had a bit of a result. Oh, I'm looking at it again, he hasn't. He's left this on. This is Raga's chance.
Gorst will be kicking himself with the kick shot there. That was a shocker. Hit it too full. He was trying at the bottom side and get the cue ball back on the bottom rail. So he's going through his own little moment here, just as Filler is, because Raga has got a wonderful chance to knock Filler out of the event. I wouldn't say it's a big shock. Obviously Raga got to the final of the Spanish Open. He's a serious contender for this event. He was coming into the event. He's a feared player in the Philippines. Melling's missed a 2 ball. Melling's got lucky on the 2 ball.
Meanwhile, Raga 4 pots away from victory now, and he's on the 5.
Yeah, he's a funny little player, Raga, and he's like very fidgety around the table. He's constantly going back, wiping the cue.
Probably goes through a block of chalk in every match.
Yeah, he likes to chalk the cue. What seems like an eternity.
Really, you don't want to say it's all over till the last 9 has gone down, but does have that feel about it now. Raga has got 3 very routine pots standing between him and a famous win.
Yep, he's a stone cold killer. is Anton Raga. He doesn't make a mess of these opportunities.
Well, he knows it's over now. He's got a simple 9 in the corner. Joshua Filler's wife Pia, who played in this championship and was 1 rack away from single elimination. It's her 26th birthday today, but Anton Raga has spoiled the party. He's beaten Joshua Filler 11-7, and the German, who was so strongly fancied to win the championship for a second time, 6 years after his first, is out.
Yeah, back to our table. Fedor. Another poor kick shot, to be said. So, we've lost SVP. And we've lost Joshua Filler.
And so, incredibly, having come so close to going out of the championship on several occasions and having lost his opening match right at the start of the week quite heavily, the only player left in this championship who's won it before is the man currently at the table.
Yeah, Joshua Filler, he needs to go back to the drawing board for me. Oh, what a shot he's played there. A bit fortunate it didn't scratch, but listen, you could see the curve on the cue ball to hit it. As I was saying, Joshua Filler's got to go back to the drawing board. I feel like he needs to change something up in his game. The World Pool Masters final where he lost to Ghost, he had 7 break-and runs. He had a lot of chances early on to really get a huge lead in that match. He made errors, silly errors though, not like you know, coming out of kick shots and just being a bit unlucky, or that shot for instance with Chris where it's not an easy pot, is it? You could see how close Chris got. It was a great effort, but just silly little errors, and he's done the same there as Joshua Filler early on in the match. He's missed 2 easy balls.
Well, you think of that great run he had round about this time 2 years ago when he won the UK Open and the World Masters. What's he won of that scale since?
Yeah,
nothing.
And it's same with the UK Open. He had that chance against Capito, didn't he? I just feel like, and I mean it with all the respect in the world, because I'm Filler's biggest fan. I think he's unbelievable, but I feel like he should just be winning.
He should be winning a lot more, yeah. He's had a really good career already. He's still so young. He's not even 27 yet. There'll be many more good days ahead, but it's like we've spent the last 2 or 3 years waiting for Filler to really assert himself as the best in the game. And you think back to what Francisco Sanchez Ruiz did, sort of 2021, 22 into early 23. That's what we were expecting Filler to do. Hasn't happened yet, and it won't be happening here. His quest for a second world title will run into 2025.
Yeah, believe me, Fedor Ghost, he will know Filler's just been beat, so that will maybe just making him sharpen up. I know that sounds a bit mental, but it does. And you could ask the players, and Fedor might say, "Oh no, I don't think about that." But it's a load of rubbish, that. Absolute rubbish. He will know that he's playing the winner. So Raga awaits the winner of the Ghost Melin match. The match we're watching, Ghost's great opportunity to go back to in front. Another foot on the cue ball. These would have been unmissable. Now he's just got a little thin one to the centre. Got to control the cue ball as well. I presume he was playing for centre pocket, Michael. Maybe he was playing for the top left and he's just slightly overrun it. I don't know. There's a great angle of the Ghost cue action. So Melin also has a good cue action, but Melin has this real long pull back, and as the hand comes back, his hand opens up on the back of the cue.
Well, he isn't exactly powering away here, but having been 3-2 down, this is going to be 4 of the last 5 racks for Ghost. And once again, he's too clear. Gorst leads Melling 6-4. So we were talking about how this match was being a bit overshadowed by everything going on with Van Boning and Filler. Well, now it's very much taken centre stage. There's another match that I'm not sure we've updated you on at all. And that's the one going on table 2 between Victor Zielinski and João Griot of Portugal, who's arguably the most surprising player to feature in the last 16. Well, Zielinski is off to a good start. He leads by 3 racks to nil. He's been to the last 16 a couple of times, Zielinski, one of them as a teenager. Well, it's wide open now, isn't it? All the people who have a chance to, as we said, change their lives and certainly change their careers over the next few days. And you know, the world ranking system that's been in operation for about 2.5 years now, it's all based on prize money. And because this is so far ahead of the prize money for anything else, well, when we all wake up on Sunday morning, it's going to be to a very different world ranking list. It's going to have been given such a huge shake-up.
Yeah, we will lose our world number 1, who's had it for 2 seasons, I would say. 2 years? Is it over 2 years? Or
I don't think it's quite a full 2 years, but it's not far off it. 6-4 Gorst.
Just losing the cue ball a bit, isn't he? He's potting the 1. Cue ball's kind of like coming off this rail. Yeah, coming down lower. He's got a good chance to lay the hook.
The other thing, of course, talking about rankings, not only is Gorst now the only past winner of the title left in it, he's the highest ranked player at number 2. Victor Zielinski is the next highest at 11, so Gorst, the only top 10 player still in this.
Well, we just had a sudden change in the volume of the music then. Seems to have gone up a notch or 2. I don't know what's going on. Melling's waiting.
You know, you watch Q Sports long enough, you'll see matches being delayed and halted for all sorts of reasons. This is a new one on me. I think perhaps the DJ thinks play's over because it's finished on the main table. Chris Melling seems to find this a lot more amusing than Federer Gorst does. Federer just wants to get on with it. Chris looks like he quite fancies getting up and having a dance to it. Anyway, that all seems to have been dealt with now. Back to business. Another one on the board for Victor Zielinski. 4-0 now over João Griot, player who's come on a huge amount in the last year. Griot was at the Spanish Open. He really made his name, got to the last 16 there.
Well, I went over to speak to our floor manager then, Mike. You should have seen Marcel Eckert. He come belting him around the corner 100 mile an hour. I think he should be a sprinter, not a referee.
Yeah.
2 real kick. Oh, good effort, Christopher.
Marcel doesn't tolerate any nonsense. Not that playing music in the arena is nonsense, but we didn't want it turned up to that level during the match.
Yeah, it's almost like TV game finished and somebody thought
Yeah.
all the matches were done. Anyway, back to the action. Good kick, Chris there. That just gives him, you feel like, another visit to the table if you miss the 2. Obviously, ball in hand.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about Melling being such a good snooker player. He was number 79 in the world. Now, for anyone who doesn't follow snooker, that might not sound like much, but you have to get to a massively high level of play, and he beat some very good players during his professional snooker career, including Luca Brissell, last year's world champion, Peter Ebdon, former world champion himself, and other ranking event winners like Matthew Stevens and Nigel Bond. He's from that wonderful Yorkshire Q Sports tradition. Great players in both codes. Darren Appleton, of course, is a Yorkshireman as well, and in the snooker world, Yorkshire's always produced great players. World champion Joe Johnson. The World and UK championships are both played in Yorkshire. It's always been massive for snooker and various forms of pool.
Well, let me tell you, if Chris can't pot the 2, Ghost has been lucky there. Oh my. Yeah, I was just thinking of snooker players from Yorkshire. Paul Hunter.
Yeah, from Leeds, who sadly passed away in his 20s. Won the Masters 3 times. Kelly Fisher, of course, who was a world champion at both snooker and pool, which she still is obviously very involved in.
Just overcut it. It was a chance he could pot it. That will frustrate Melling as he goes back to the chair. Darryl Peach was born in Yorkshire. I was actually born in Bradford.
Yeah. You were a bit of a mixed bag, really. Didn't you live in Manchester for a while? Yeah. Now, of course, very much associated with Blackpool.
That's why I've got this weird kind of accent going on.
So we can add you to the list of Yorkshire Q Sports greats.
Well, I'm not so sure about greats, but yeah, Ghost has got to recognise he's been a bit fortunate in this couple of kick shots, and the fact that Melling didn't pop the ball, so this is a good chance for Fedor. Just got to get a nice angle on this purple 5 and then make sure he doesn't do anything silly getting onto the green 6, because he's not got a big window over there.
Sort of feels like a big opportunity for Gorst, doesn't it? If he could get to 7-4, it feels like he's starting to shake off his older opponent. He might just pull away from there, and goodness knows, Gorst might actually win a match comfortably this week. Certainly not been the story of his championship so far. None of his last 4 matches, the 4 that he's won after that opening defeat, have been won by anything more than 2 racks. Well, this could have been friendlier.
Over. You can sort of forget about the cue ball though, because of where the 8 is. Oh, and he's hung over the pocket.
What a difference that makes, it staying on the table. The 7 drops, it's 7-4, surely. But now, Melling with the opportunity to get back to 1 behind. But we always say it, shooting from distance when the ball's over the pocket, you can never guarantee what the cue ball is going to do.
Yeah, the 8 is near a pocket, so that should make life a little easier. Wow, how do you like that?
Yeah, very nice. Strokes in the 7, sorry, the 8. And that will be a routine 9 in the side. So Chris Melling is not going away here. He's only 1 behind against Fedor Gorst. that 6-5. Now, update on Viktor Zielinski. He's continuing his wonderful start. He now leads João Griot by 5 racks to 0. And may well be heading for an all-Polish quarter-final against Wojciech Szewczyk, who, in case you don't know, knocked out Shane Van Boening a little earlier. A few of the Polish players actually at the moment are in partnership. They're opening a big club with 25 tables, plus snooker and darts as well, in Bytom. Planning to open that very soon. I know Mieszko Fortunski and Konrad Jusushin are involved in that. I think some of the other Polish players might be part of that enterprise as well. It'd certainly boost a new club opening if Poland was to have a world champion. And well, even as I was talking there, it looks increasingly likely that Poland will be guaranteed a semi-finalist, because Zielinski has now added another one and leads João Griot 6-0. Back here though, it's a different story. Melling breaking and looking to get level.
I know we keep talking about these moments, the back and forth moments, but they truly are, because Chris made the mistake in the previous rack. That let Gorst in. Gorst did not capitalise. Gorst missed out 7. Chris dished up. And then now, Chris has a chance to tie the match up. Didn't want the 2-ball in. Not saying it's like horrendous it's felling, because he does still have a pot here, but you can see he would have been a lot better on this red 3 if the 2 would have stayed over that pocket. Big pot here for Christopher Melling. No, never looked in, hit the rail. You could just see it hit the rail too quick. This match is just going back and forth, isn't it? Both players feeling it a bit now they know Filler's gone out. Of course, Raga is a cool operator himself, but Filler's a, I don't know, the name Joshua Filler. He scares a lot of pool players.
10.
Easy to hit this all wrong when the cue ball starts to fly. Yeah, well controlled.
The thing with Raga is, you might say, well, he's not used to being at the business end of these big events, but you think back to the European Open, everything about that event and the style of it and the venue and everything, it was all new to him, and he didn't really even seem to notice he was 1 rack away from winning it in the end.
Yeah, it was that shot, remember, where he tried to cannon the ball off the other ball?
Yeah.
The very last rack. If that had gone in, he'd have been the European champion.
Yeah, and it stopped on the edge, didn't it?
Yeah, that's how close it was. So yeah, he might not have won, but in some ways, does it really matter?
Yeah, he showed his credentials, his ability to deal with everything. He's one of these people who just seems to play pool. He's not really all that bothered, it seems, about who he's playing, what the score in the match is, what the setting is. He just gets on with it. Of course, that's the mindset you want.
The last couple of racks look like they're going to go to the player who kind of should not have won them.
Yeah, and that was one of those moments you feel we might be looking back on at the end of this and saying that was the biggest moment of the match in a sense, because Melling had an opportunity there to turn around a situation where he looked like he might be about to go 7-4 down to instead, about 5 minutes later, being level. But thumped the 3 into the rail. That caused him to miss the pot. And for the 3rd time in the match, Fedor Gorst leads by a couple of racks. 7-5 now in his favour. João Griot is not going to be whitewashed in his last 16 match against Viktor Zielinski, because he's 1 rack 7. Zielinski's lead is now 6-1. So we're only about 3/4 of an hour away now from the start of the quarter-finals. There certainly won't be much time between the end of this round and the start of that one. In fact, one or both of these matches could still be going on when they start the quarters, so safe to assume, I think, that The other matches will be put on first. In fact, I can tell you, first up on the main table tonight is going to be Eklund Kachi against Jeffrey Ignacio, while on the table we're watching here, it'll be Dang Jinhu against Johan Chua. And then the other two quarterfinals will follow straight after those two. This is the last day that there's more than one table in operation. The semi-finals will be played back-to-back on the main table in the early stages of Saturday, and then the final tomorrow night. Race to 15, and that's an increase. But actually, that ranking event that Gorst won in America last month, that was race to 15 in the final as well. So he'll be used to the distance if he gets there. 7-5.
Again, the cue ball, it's coming off the side rail and it's flirting with his bottom corner. Watch it come off. You see it come there? He's not quite hitting the brake how he wants. Fair enough, he's making the one ball. But at some point you feel like he might find a scratch on the brake. I wouldn't be surprised to see that come soon. Held his hand up because he feels he got fortunate to have this shot on the blue too.
Yeah, it did have a scratch in rack 7. Other than that, though, they've all turned out well in terms of making something. Okay, so this is a chance for Gorst to finally take a really firm grip on this match. As I said, he's been a couple clear 3 times now. If he wins this rack, it'll be his biggest lead yet, and he might just start to see that target of 11 appearing on the horizon.
I always used to hate these shots. Just playing a little cutback. He's lost the cue ball here. Oh, I didn't see the pink 4, Michael. I do apologise.
And we talked about Gorst late last year becoming the first player to have played for both sides in the Mosconi Cup, and although it was a heavy defeat for him and his new American teammates, I think his involvement was one of the positives of the week. You look at the 3 points USA did manage to win. Well, he was involved in 2 of them, and together with Shane Wolford, they almost beat the 2 Spanish guys, FSR and Al-Qaedi, only beaten in a hill-hill finish.
Just got to take care of this 5 ball, which he slams home. Just lost a cue ball like this has been the story of the match. You can sense Gorst feels like he should have a better lead than 7-5, so he's just trying to grind his way to a 3-rack lead here. I'm convinced when they see Joshua Filler exit the event and they know they're going to play the winner. It's made a little bit of a difference. Oh, he's dropped his shoulder. This is what I mean. You can just feel it. He's got away with one. Could have gone anywhere. But at least Chris is back to the table. He'll be kicking at the green 6.
Gorst will be kicking himself. He passed up the opportunity to build that big lead.
Yeah, just that shot from the 5 ball. He just made himself have one of them little weird ones where you can drop your shoulder. He's talking to himself a lot. Actually, the kick shot sets up nice for Chris. Didn't realise he could get through the gap at first. He'll kick and stick him here. Gorst will be in trouble. Yeah, the kick and stick was there. He's not quite hit the 6 how he wanted. But as long as he's got the cover, wanted to hit it a bit harder. Might be able to see an edge, Ghost. He's bringing the jump cue as well, just in case. Looks to be okay though. The last 3 racks, Michael, players have had an easy finish and just not get out. Ended up losing the rack. Well, how about that for a shot? That was SVB-esque. He's fired it in the pocket. Could he even see it, or did he jump over the 8?
Well, that'll be the only way in which he wants to emulate Van Boning this afternoon, because the American's been knocked out. But yeah, wonderful shot, and that should set him up for an 8-5 lead.
I think you'll see Ghost take a timeout after these 2 balls. Bit of frustration on the 6th ball as well. Look at what he's left himself here on the 9.
Should make it, but you don't want to leave yourself with these questions to ask, absolutely.
No, you're just giving yourself too much to do. Just get the cue ball way up near the centre line of the table.
This to lead by 3. And managed to recover the situation in the end, and now he needs 3 more to advance.
That 9 ball reminded me of the 9 ball Chris potted to beat Sanderson. It was the exact same shot. Chris potted the 8, didn't quite hit the 8 hard enough, but Fedor's waiting clean. I don't know if you've seen the replay of that, but Elliot was showing me after the match. I couldn't believe the 9 fell. Yep, I knew the timeout was going to come there.
You know, you were talking there about players talking to themselves, and we had it arise during the rack. I was recently watching the clip of the World Final where Earl Strickland successfully defended it by beating Nick Varner. Still the only time anyone's ever gone back-to-back. And the players are mic'd up. And you can imagine what that was like with Earl. Every single shot he was saying, oh, I'm out of position. Oh, no, I'm not. Then the next shot he's saying, oh, I can't believe that guy's camera went off just when I was down on it. It was just incredible. Everything. It was like he was doing his own commentary. The other thing I noticed, the players were still wearing waistcoats and bow ties.
Wow. Right, Michael, Scott Frosty's going to come in the booth to finish the match. It's all getting a bit too much for me.
Can't handle a long shift at his age. Carl Boys is out. He's got other matters to attend to. And Scott Frost is going to join me in a moment. Zhao Griot's won another rack. He's back to 6-2 behind now against Victor Zielinski. Is that going to be the start of a big turnaround? You've changed your mind, Carl. You like me after all.
Yeah, that was a quick change. Scott told me that he's just come out of a coaching session with some of the Saudi Arabian juniors and Efren Reyes, and he said he needs to eat. I said, oh, you just carry on, pal. I'll finish the game.
Well, Fender Gorst will be hoping that he can finish it himself. Significant moment now, 8-5 in front. Suddenly he's starting to see victory in his sights. He was so consistent at doing well in these big matchroom events last year. Quarter-finals of the Spanish Open, quarter-finals of the European Open, where he was only beaten Hill by Joshua Filler. Quarter-finals in Hanoi, close one against Jason Shaw. Best of all, though, was the US Open, where he got to the final, and it looked like he might win it when he led Ko Ping Chung 6-3. Didn't win another rack after that. 10 in a row for Ko to win 13-6. Did win a couple of big events in America in 2023. Not the full-scale majors like this, but Derby City Classic, where he beat Shane Van Boning, and the Turning Stone, where he beat Mika Immonen in the final. Both world ranking events, and he won the Perry Open last year. Beat Michael Feliciano in the final. In the semis, he'd beaten Anton Raga, who he may be playing in another race to 11 later this evening. Yeah, the Perry Open was played in Hanoi just before the Hanoi Open itself, and again, it wasn't a major tournament, but you look at the field, it might as well have been. Pretty much all the big names lined up for that before going on to the main event, the Hanoi Open itself. So he really was super consistent throughout 2023, but I guess he would have swapped a lot of that to win one of the biggest titles. He has won one already this year, the World Masters, the game's premier invitational event. Well, there's no way Chris is getting that flight to China tonight, whatever happens. It leaves in an hour and a half. After losing 2 racks in a row, Viktor Zielinski has won the 9th, so he now leads Zhao Griot 7-2. The promised land of the quarter-finals of the World Championship. Now just 4 racks away for Zielinski. Player who we've been talking about so much in recent years. I think we all thought 23 was going to be a huge breakthrough year for Zielinski. Win a big title, maybe make the Mosconi team. Wasn't to be. So, Fedor Gorst back at the table and looking for 3 more racks to go through to the quarters.
Yeah, let's have a look at the cue ball. It's been losing it a little bit on the break. That's better, a lot better. Look at the difference, Michael. Look what you get blessed with off the break when you hit them good. Obviously it's a percentage game, you're not always going to get these splits, but it does seem to work out a little better.
Yeah, and if there's been a better break than that in this match, I certainly can't remember it.
Sliding up the left side of the table. 6 ball will go as soon as this ball disappears. Alongside the World Pool Championships, we've had the Saudi Junior Championships, Michael. Well, the final will be at 7:30, so in an hour's time roughly. And we'll be showing you that junior final on this very table. It's between Ivan Rudenko and Felix Vogel. Table 2, Michael's just informed me, so you still can watch it on YouTube.
Well, I'm guessing it's on table 2 because there'll be a quarter final on this table.
Right, yeah. I know they're showing it anyway.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at the date and all sorts. It's all going on here. It's the 7th. Yeah, it's definitely on at 7:30.
You've definitely got the right year, yeah?
Got the right year. I know it's in one of the arenas, put it that way. Yeah, I was getting a bit excited then. I'm thinking semis, it's quarters, isn't it? Anyway, this is just the break Gorst wanted after his little time out. Working with Johan Royschnik, and Johan walked out the arena as well. I'm sure they had a little chin wagon. Johan said a few words to him, and now this is turning into a healthy lead, isn't it, Michael? It was all very close and a bit back and forth.
It's going to be his second break and run of the match. The other one took him into the lead for the first time in the contest at 2-1. This has given him his biggest lead yet, and Gorst only needs a couple more. You know, we talk about the junior events and it's become a bit of a cliche to say, oh, some of them are frightening how good they are when you consider how young they look. But it's become a cliche because it's absolutely true. I mean, I'm not kidding now. At the Spanish Open last year, there was one kid there who looked 3. He looked about 3 years old. Now, he wasn't 3, obviously he was a bit older than that, but it was just surreal seeing someone who could play the game properly looking so young. And my word, how it will stand to these guys. It's not like when they turn up to play in these big open events for the first time that they won't have seen anything like the setting. They'll all have played in it over and over again, the very best of them, because we have so many of these junior events now. It's all positive. And it's something that you just know in 2 or 3 years from now we'll be talking about players and commentating on them in last 16s and quarterfinals and saying, well, this player first came to our attention when he won or got to the final of one of the big junior events. What age did you start playing?
I was 14 when I started.
Really?
I was quite late, really.
Two more to be the only former champion in the quarters. Well, he's got through them there, but as the 9, giving Melling a bit of help.
Yeah, and plus the 3.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's a little thin one, regardless, even if you can see it, he's got to play a really clever, safe positional shot, hasn't he? He's got to go side rail, long rail, and then find a window back down the bottom end of the table. The good news is the pink 4 does go in both the bottom corners, so he can choose the route he feels he's more guaranteed, whether that's down the left side of the table or coming down the right.
This match is starting to feel like a lot of the matches he won on the way to the US Open final last year. An opponent he was expected to beat, who did well to stay with him for a considerable period, but then Gorst got it done with a bit of distance in the end. That applies to his matches against Sanyin Pelovanovic, Carlo Biado, Robbie Capito, the semi-final against Alexa Pechelge as well.
Yeah, coming down the right hand side of the table, big bounce helps, that's fine. Got to really dial down here, make sure he clears the table. The difference in 9-6 with your opponent breaking compared to 10-5 with you having the break is, it's almost like 1 foot in the quarterfinals this evening. The cue ball stops or rolls another inch, he's won the rack. Left himself jacked up. Probably can't do much with a cue ball. He's tall, Fedor, so reaching it should be okay. Because of the positional shot, Michael, the rack has turned on its head here. He's got to knock a good ball in now. It's amazing what cue ball control can do. In practice, he'd have knocked that finish in 10 out of 10 with ease. Chris knows he's sat in his chair thinking, well, could have been a lot better on this 7. Got to knock a good ball in here. Come over for the 8 ball. There you go, he's missed the 7 ball. Absolutely incredible what you see on a pool table. It really is, Michael. The finish is just all there. Two rails with a cue ball. Leaves himself jacked up. back off it, play safe. Didn't have a choice there. Didn't get left a pot. Surely he's not left the edge. Surely he's not left the edge. If he's left the edge, Fedor can return the favour. The difference in not leaving the edge means he's got to kick at the ball. Yeah, he's going 2 rails. He's trying to hit the bottom side of this 7. Well, we have a match on our hands again.
Yeah, it feels like Gorst a number of times has somewhat unnecessarily let Melling back into it. You have to think if Gorst had managed to see that out and win the rack, would have been almost certain he'd be in the quarterfinals. But now, Melling is probably going to be breaking at only 9-6 down.
Break and run or a golden break, 9-7. He's still well in this match.
Made those last few balls so quickly, it's almost like he's still feeling he could make that 8 o'clock flight. But of course, doesn't really want to be on it, does he? He wants to be still here in Jeddah for the World Championship, and for now he is. Victor Zielinski is closing in on ending the run of João Grillo of Portugal. It's now 8-2 in favour of Zielinski. Winner of that plays Wojciech Szewczyk. As I'm sure you know by now, knocked out the former champion Shane Van Bonen earlier. Another past winner gone, Joshua Filler, this afternoon, beaten by Anton Raga, who'll now play the winner of this. And just in case you're not up to date on what happened earlier, Mickey Kraus, who knocked out the defending champion yesterday, was beaten today by Dang Junhui, who will now play Johan Chua. He ended the hopes of last year's runner-up, Mohamed Soufi. Jeffrey Ignacio with a bit of an eyebrow-raising win over David O'Cady. Ignacio will play Eklund Kachi, who was simply wonderful in his 11-3 win over Mark Bijsterbosch of the Netherlands. That was all earlier. Right now, Melling is still punching.
Yeah, he's got the break. Well, he'd have had no shot on this blue 2 if it wasn't for the point. Watch the 2 ball here. Looks like it's going up table. Didn't get behind the purple, but at least he's got the hook. Such a different complexion, isn't it? Fedor knocks that 7 ball in or gets better position, 10-5 with the break. You almost feel like it's match over. Now, this is not match over. Melling is very much still in this match.
And showed great finishing qualities against Elliot Sanderson last night when he had to come from behind.
Chris will definitely have a go at the bank shot here. It sets up nicely. The 3 ball's close to it. I think he's playing the cut, is it? No, it was the bank. Of course it was the bank. And now he's at table with a wonderful chance. He'd have been sat in his chair 5 minutes ago thinking, I'm going to have to win the last 6 racks. He would have felt he was going to go 10-5 down.
And I'm guessing for a player, Carl, there's a huge difference between being behind in a match and being behind when your opponent's on the hill, because the other guy's on the hill, you know the next mistake will probably be your last.
Yeah, it's huge, and you know, this turns into almost like, you know, it's believable, you know it's true now. 9-7 with a break, you know you can easily win this match. 10-5 against break, you sat there just kind of asking for a bit of a miracle, to be honest.
Remember, this is a guy who, a couple of days ago, I certainly thought when I saw him, he might have to pull out of the championship because he really couldn't walk properly. He can certainly play properly. And he's reminded Fedor Gorst of that fact there. So back to 9-7 now. And it's yet another Fedor Gorst cliffhanger in prospect. As we were saying earlier, he lost his opening match and it's been drama all the way. He's had some big deficits to turn around and some close finishes. 9-7 against Long Duc Tien. Somehow got through against Kyle Amoroto, 9-8. Was 7-0 down against Amir Ali from Iraq, one of the big breakout stars of this year's championship. And then won 11 of the next 13 racks to get through. And even when he did get himself into a good position last night against Chang Yu Lung, he only just got the job done in a hill finish there as well. (9-2) for Victor Zielinski over Zhao Griot. Just looking for a couple more to make the quarters. Melling still has a great chance of being in the last 8 himself.
Well, this is setting up. He can pot this ball. It's not an easy one though, is it? It's one of them little cutbacks. I suppose the only good thing is if he pots it, he's on the 4 and well, all the balls are there. He's going up in the other pocket, not that pocket, yeah, that pocket. Oh, it's only just fell. What a chance. Seems to be the story of Gorsty's event. This nothing is coming easy. He's not winning matches easy. He's just not killing opponents off.
Dan. Extension. Just keep moving on the shot there.
Yeah, there was some sort of distraction there.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, like I said, he comes from a bit of the snooker world. So
Yeah, I was thinking that.
yeah, if he sees any movement in the crowd, he's up and down.
Then again, there's movement constantly around the arena at these events, so you have to think whatever it was, it must have been either really directly in his line or a bit out of the ordinary for him to remark upon it. Anyway, managed to put it out of his mind. And a couple of shots later, here he is, closing in and getting back to only 1 adrift.
Yeah, that's perfect. Centre of the table, and cue ball will just come over to the left. Yep, off the rail as well. We're about to go 9-8.
Plays pretty quickly, Chris Melling, but even allowing for that, they amount of time it's taken him to get from probably 10-5 down to now trailing only 9-8 and breaking has been very swift indeed. João Griot's got one back. Still a long, long road for the Portuguese player, though, if he's to prolong his involvement in the championship. He trails Victor Zielinski by 9 racks to 3. Well, if Fedor Gorst ends up winning the World Championship, he might need to go and lie down for a couple of weeks because he will have expended so much nervous energy. You've got plenty of that, of course, when you're 24 years of age. It's just been one battle after another. Look how eager Chris Mellin is to get on with this. And that's entirely understandable. He's not just winning racks, he's building up a bit of rhythm now ahead of steam. Fascinating stuff, this. Mellin has the break in a rack, which if he wins it, take him level.
Yeah, huge break off coming off. He's going to get a shot. The 2 stayed over the pocket. Can you believe what we've seen here? Really? 9-5 to Gorst. 4 balls pretty much over the pocket. Doesn't get out. Mellin's got a chance to tie it up at 9-9. Oh, he'd like to rewind the clock 5 seconds. Does have good temperament, Chris, though. How many players would be fuming with themselves there? He just looks like he's played it there, but I'm going to show you, he hasn't. He may play the bank again here. It's almost like a free go at the bank. Yeah, because if you miss it, you find the top rail. Mistake from Mellin to tie the match up. Gorst gets back to the table. What has Fedor Gorst got here? You're just tuning in. Gorst was 9-5 up in the balls. Easy finish to get on the hill. He didn't convert. It's all been about Mellin since.
Yeah, and not only was he 9-5 up, but all the momentum was with him at the time because it had been close at 6-5, and we were just waiting and waiting for Gorst to take control of things, and it looked like it had finally happened.
Slow. Well, has he left the potting angle? We just don't know, do we? Gorst looks a little bit dejected sat in his chair, so that tells me he has. Mellin looks fired up for it. He can pot this ball. He can pot this ball.
And now he's very glad that that 4 didn't drop in the side off the break.
Well, you have to say, it's Chris Mellin who looks the player in this match who is more likely to go and knock the balls in.
It's a remarkable thing to say, but there's no arguing with it. Well, talk about looking like you fancy the job. It's like he's not aware of the enormity of what he might be about to do here. He's playing the world number 2. Many people feel the best player in the world. World Masters winner back in April. former winner of this title. And from 9-5 down, Chris Melling is 2 balls away from being level with him, and only a couple of racks away from knocking Gorst out.
Yeah, spins the cue ball round, 3 rails. Is this 9 to tie it up?
Indeed, it is 9-all. And look how quickly he's playing, Carl. It's like he's not affected by the circumstances at all. He's inspired by it.
Yeah, he's playing his natural game. He always plays off instinct, especially if he's potting a ball. He just kind of gets down and aims. And just look at the 2 chairs. Melling's sat upright, fully focused. It's Gorst that's slouched a little bit in the chair.
Championship due to start in about 10 time, and I guess there's still last 16 May men. Victor Zielinski certainly by 7 local time. He's now on the hill against Zhao Griot. 10 racks. Forgotten match today because of everything else that's gone. Won 4, made it to the penultimate day. The last 16, 2 of them have gone. Fedor Gorst is in danger of following them through the exit door.
The 2 ball looked like it was going to go near the pocket. Maybe rattle and stay near the pocket. It hasn't. He's come further down the rail. Safety shot. Not good enough. Went to slide behind the 6. If he had got behind the 6, Gorst kicking, he'd have been in some trouble, let me tell you. Now, he's definitely spotted something here, Gorst, because he's getting down fairly quick.
10.
Just a little dinky one.
I don't know about you, Carl, but it just feels like the tension has just ratcheted up a little bit more in the last couple of minutes. Like the enormity of this rack is hitting home. Whoever wins it is breaking on the hill.
Yeah, it's a huge rack. Really is. And I feel it's bigger for Gorst than Mellin, to be quite honest. These days the rail after contact.
Oh, he's not going to.
Oh, he has.
Ooh.
That was incredible. I was with you at first. I thought it was going to be a foul. Suppose even if he did foul, it's not like Fedor would have cleared the table, but he could have played a better safety and put Chris in a lot of trouble.
10.
That's all he could do, really. Fedor Gorst, in this year's event, has kept putting himself in these situations. He's answered time and time again, but you're not going to keep getting away with it, Michael. Mellon looked dead and buried in this match. He might be buried now, buried behind this pink 4. Still got to play it right. You could see there's a bit of a gap there between the pink foot. In the distance you could see Chris sort of grimace. He feels like he's going to be locked up. Well, Chris Mellon is a human highlight reel on a pool table. He has a knack of potting balls out of snookers.
Ten. 5.
Well, how's this turned out? Has he left us?
Extension. 24.
Yeah, it may go in the corner, not sure at the moment. It does go in the corner, it might go in right centre pocket as well actually.
It's gone in the side. Okay, so a long-awaited chance for Gorst to seize back the initiative. He was intending to roll into the 7. So I mean, he just looks a bit more under it to me than Mellon. Oh, without a doubt. You can see it in the body language. Even as Gorst was coming to the table a few minutes ago, looked a much more anxious figure than the guy who looked pretty comfortable when he led 9-5. Yeah, and it's not a difficult finish. I know the circumstances make it difficult. I don't mean the situation. I mean, on a pool table, if you was practicing, you'd get these 50 out of 50. This is just a little bit of left English. Pull it over to this left side table, and you're on the 6.
10.
Yeah, they're not going in clean, Michael. He won't care. All he cares about is it's in the bucket. But you could see it took a bit of a rattle. And same again here. Make sure you find the centre-ish of the table. Don't start leaving yourself just off straight angle on the 7. Then you got to start banging the 7 in. That's when you can miss the ball. Just give yourself this big angle. Back yourself. Yeah, that's ideal. There's no pressure with a cue ball now. You can afford to just make sure you concentrate on the pot. Should be 10-9 now. The first rack he'll have won in 5. Let's not forget though, Chris Melling was 10-8 down with his opponent breaking on the hill last night and came through. Ooh, the 8 wriggled a bit as well. Yeah, he's feeling it, believe me. And rightfully so. It's the World Pool Championships. This is for a place in the quarterfinals. And if he gets this 9, he will be 1 rack away from getting there.
10.
So Ferragorst, after losing 4 racks in a row, has taken that one, and he will break on the hill. It's 10-9. Viktor Zielinski is through to the quarterfinals of the 2024 World Championship. He's beaten João Griot by 11 racks to 3. The Portuguese player bows out. Zielinski goes forward to an all-Polish clash with Wojciech Szewczyk, the man who ended the title ambitions of Shane Van Boening an hour or two ago. There was a lot of talk the weekend before last about it being the 25th anniversary of Manchester United completing what was then the only instance of the treble in English football history, and anyone who was around at that time and following it will remember that it just seemed to be drama all the way through for United that season, all the way to that famous Champions League final. Ferragorst's run in this championship is so similar. It just seems to be relentless drama, nothing coming in a straightforward fashion. But like United back in '99, he keeps finding a way. He's still got to find a way through this match. Needs one more rack. He's got 2 cracks at it. This is his last break of this last 16 encounter. And boy, could he do with a good one.
Well, it's a good break. Oh, and it's a good split. At first, Michael, I kept quiet because it just looked like balls were going to tie up just because of where the 2-ball was heading. But actually, this has turned out not too bad. 7-ball. There's work to do there. It's not an easy finish, but he's got a chance.
Can't really see it, but there's a sizable crowd watching this match now, and even the spectators on the main table have turned around to look at it. Well, this is a chance for Gorst to show all his class and his quality and underline what he's all about. In spite of all his struggles, I think he'd still have to go into the quarterfinals as favourite if he gets there. He's the only player in the top 10 of the world rankings still in the championship.
Still got work to do. This is not a gimme finish. Should be okay to get on the top rail here for the purple 5. But it's going to be all about the 7 combo. It's not dead straight, so the 7-ball's going to move away. Jacked up here as well. Shot. Very good shot. As I said, this rack, this match, this last 16, epic battle between young Ferragorst and multi-talented Q-Sport superstar Chris Melling is all going to come down to the brown 7. Everybody's made their way over to this side of the arena, Michael. People are stood all around, they're in the seats.
Yeah, it doesn't really show in that picture there. Most of them just out of shot.
Got to get past the 9-ball.
10.
Okay, he did get past the 9. He's landed low, So if he makes the combination, I think the cue ball will come off the right hand side rail and he should still have a shot on the 7 ball. This match is all on this shot. There you see it's not dead straight, so he has to make the combo. He can't just aim for the pocket. Oh, good shot for the post.
And it looks as though he's finally going to get there. It's been drama again. Yet another close finish for the 5th match in a row. It looks as though he's going to come through with little or nothing to spare. Chris Melling responded well, 9-5 down, got back to 9-all.
Well, someone's just put the music on. Not really sure why. Maybe celebratory song because it looks like Gorst has got the job done, but again, it's in a close match. He put himself under unnecessary pressure.
Only 5 players who have won this World Championship have ever come back and won it again. Fedor Gorst somehow is still here with a chance to add his name to that list. The 2019 champion has defeated Chris Melling by 11 racks to 9, and we now have our quarter-final lineup. 3 players from the Philippines, 2 from Poland who will face each other, and 1 apiece from China, Albania and the United States of America. Fedor Gorst is through to play Anton Raga in the quarter-finals. So the action just doesn't stop here on this wonderful Friday in Jeddah. Just about to start on the main table, Jeffrey Ignacio and Eklund Kachi. On this table, it's Dang Jinhu and Johan Chua. And then later this evening, Wojciech Szewczyk plays Viktor Zielinski, and Anton Raga will face Fedor Gorst, who has just about managed to come through against Chris Melling. Stay with us for more action.
Plenty of perspiration Now we're seeing inspiration.
Listen to the noise. This is to tie the match up.
It all would have been there for him. He's done it!
And it would be the shot of the tournament.
Magnificent, marvellous, magical.
born for this. Game time, frame of mind, got you on defense. No breaks, never on the fence. Cause every shot you don't take, you are going to miss. Let the games begin. We only came for one reason. We came to win. So if you didn't hear me, let me say it again. We only came for one reason. It's time to hit the grind. I must admit, we fit to shine. Anyone in our way should get behind. We bring the punishment, whether or not it fits the time. You about to burn out your energy. We about to turn up intensity. You versus me should be a penalty. So be concerned if you are defending me. You won't find you a better team. Fulfilling all the dreams that you ever dreamed. We'll never leave. We not just the best, but the best that you ever seen. You won't find you a better team. Fulfilling all the dreams that you ever dreamed. We'll never leave. We not just the best, but the best that you ever seen.
128 hopefuls from across the globe began the week in Jeddah. 16 were left when we started out today. Now we're down to just 8. It's day 5 of the World Pool Championship and it's quarterfinals time. And then there were 8. As you heard at the top there, 128 started on Monday, hoping to become world champion. And realistically, 30 or 40 came here thinking they will become world champion. Only 8 can do it now, represented by 5 nations as well. Welcome to day 5 of the World Pool Championship in Jeddah, alongside my A-team, as always, Jeremy Jones and the man Carl Boys. Gentlemen, here we are. This is it, right? This is the business end. And I mean, the afternoon session, I thought last night's session was crazy. The afternoon session, even crazier.
Yeah, obviously, Joshua Filler, my pick for
Your pick, yes.
for the title. Obviously, he's gone, didn't play great, missed a few easy balls, but he's been doing that. He did that at the World Masters, he did it at UK Open, and he's done it here. So he needs to go back home, you know, maybe watch some matches or work on a few things. That's what you've got to do, and try and come back stronger. But like you said, everything else, unbelievable afternoon.
Yeah, it really has been a crazy afternoon. You look at the top 10 rankings going into this tournament, only one player from the top 10 remains, and that's Fedor Gorst, who's given everyone heart palpitations because he keeps on going to the hill all the time. It's like he's doing this to tease us, and you never know, right? His name could be on the trophy because he finds a way all the time.
Yeah, his name's been on the trophy before, so he's got a chance to do it again. And, you know, probably the most unlikely the way the matches have gone, but we've been losing them like left and right, and, you know, we might have a new champion.
Yeah, and he's just literally just beat Chris Mellon. I was in the comments for that match. He should have gone 10-5 up. He had such an easy finish. He found a way not to clear up, and as you just said, Addy, all of a sudden he's at 9-9. He's under pressure, but he just keeps finding a way over the line.
Yeah, he certainly does. 3 Filipinos through as well to the quarterfinal stage. They've been boosted by the announcement that Efren Reyes was going to come this morning, and he obviously is in the building. And he's been doing some great stuff as well behind the scenes. He's been coaching so many of the Saudi youngsters as well, showing them how to queue up. I was lucky enough to watch him have a couple of racks. Still got it. Still got it. I wanted to jump on and show that I've got it, but I didn't.
You should have done. I should have let you to show you a few things. Yeah, I think he's 70 years of age this year, right? Which is unbelievable. He looks so well for his age, doesn't he? But you know, he still cues a mean ball. I'm sure he can still beat a lot of the players here in the World Championships as well.
Yeah, he is here. And by the way, you can probably see 2 trophies right now. Obviously, the World Championship trophy, which I'm not going to touch. You can see this one as well, the Saudi Junior Championship, because we've got a bit of bonus action for you as well today. On table 2 will be the final of that championship. And it's good to see them mixing it with the senior pros. I've seen them had a couple of racks as well. These young guys can play. They can really play.
Well, me and Jeremy went to the pool hall, didn't we, and worked with some of the juniors, and we've worked in the players' lounge with them. There's some mean, you know, young players there, talented players, and you can tell that some of the juniors have got favourite players in the men's game because they mimic what they do. And even the other day, one of the little juniors, I think he was 11 or 12, he was screaming the room down, you know, louder than any of the male players in the event after he'd won his match, you know. So it's great to see, and what an opportunity to go out there in one of these arenas and play the final.
Yeah, they're going to do the walk-on as well. They're going to do everything the senior pros do. It's Vogel versus Rudenko. We're going to get to that a bit later. All right, let's give you a recap of what this afternoon session looked like. Here's Phil Yates.
You know, dreams occasionally come true, but more often, reality bites. The latter happened this afternoon when World Cup winner Johan Chur overcame the sentimental favourites. There will be no second straight appearance in the final for Syria's Mohamed Soufi, beaten 11-8. And 6 years on from being crowned 9-ball champion of the world, there will be no second triumph for Joshua Filler. Filler missed far more pots than normal and was burnt by the Dragon Anton Raga, who refused to be slayed. For the pint-sized Filipino, the quarterfinals await.
Yeah, let's run through some of those results. Again, a fantastic afternoon of Mohamed Soufi, the finalist back here last year, gone. Joanne Chua through 11-8. Joshua Filler, champion in 2018, gone. Anton Raga through on that one. Fedor Gorsh, you can see it there, 11-9 against Chris Menon. And one of the upsets, the big ones, you have to admit, Shane Van Bonen, champion here 2 years ago, gone, out, 11-7. Fantastic. You look at the lineup as well, what we've got coming up. TV table. A lot of people now are tipping this young man to go all the way. Eklund Kachi will take on Jeffrey Ignacio. Fedor Gorsh, Anton Raga. Dan Junhyu will take on Johan Chua. My pick to lift the trophy. And an all-Polish affair. Viktor Zelensky will take on Wojciech Szczęsny. Wow. I mean, it's incredible. SVB gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know what, JJ? I've not really seen much of SVB play this week. It seems to have never been on his match, but I know JJ said he's not quite been at the races. His break's been a bit up and down. What's the story in this match, JJ? I didn't see it.
Yeah, he just made a lot of mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes, a couple little bad rolls. But, I mean, Shevchuk didn't play his best pool either. It was just kind of cleaning up after a lot of mistakes from SVB, and just kind of was that way. I mean, Federer made a lot of mistakes, getting away with it maybe at times. Didn't happen for SVB.
Yeah, you can make mistakes in the early rounds. You can't make them in the quarterfinals or so yeah, he's gone. Fedor Gorst, a player that always goes to Hill, right? He struggled since he got here, won or lost his opening match. Since then, he's just struggled away. He's gone Hill. But there must be something about knowing you can go to the Hill and always find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the fact that he's won a lot of hills or close matches like this one against Chris, now where he pots the 9 for an 11-9 win, means if he's tested at the end of these matches, he knows he's good enough to knock him in. I know it sounds a bit crazy because most players are, but doing it, you know, when you're like 10-3 up is pretty easy. Even me and JJ could do that, but when it's 10-9 or 10-10, that's where you've got to test the metal a little bit.
Yeah, but, I mean, do you figure he can make those mistakes against Raga in the next match? I mean, Raga's putting together a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way Raga beat Mario He last night, I stood here watching it, you know, it was 10-10. He made a beautiful shot on the 5. He's just done filler, and he's done filler on the TV table. So I think Raga's a little, I wouldn't say a dark horse. Obviously, he got to the final of the Spanish Open, but I think Filipinos, you know, the flag of the Philippines with Poole, with Efren here, there's 3 left in the quarters. I think that's the story of the event so far.
It certainly is. Maybe the undercover story of the event is Eklund Kachi, who's almost been on the outer tables. We haven't really seen him. And this guy, I mean, he's playing some fantastic pool. Look, he had the accident we know about. He's come back from that now. And I don't want to say he's back to his best, but he's getting there, Jay.
Yeah, his stamina's getting better. I think he's getting more confident, kind of reflecting on some big wins in the past. That UK Open performance seems like he's getting better every match. I think he opened with 5 racks right there and really kind of just shut his opponent out.
Yeah, and what he's doing is he's not breaking at about 60, 78%. He's full throttle, hard stun break. Balls are going everywhere.
Yeah, and fantastic player as well. He really is. Joshua Filler, Anton Raga. What happened to Filler, do you think, there?
Well, just the start of the match, he missed a few silly balls, easy balls and all, just not like Filler, and that gave Raga a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence. And then Filler was chasing. And like JJ said about Raga and Fedor, you know, he's a class act. He's a funny little player around the table. He's kind of like scrunched up on the cue a little bit, and he's forever wiping the cue. He goes through about a block of chalk a match, but he is unbelievable with a cue ball. And Filler just was never going to get back in that match.
Yeah, I think also that